Okay, good evening. This is the ST-8. We looked at the ST-6 yesterday. Now, interestingly enough, I was thinking about it. I've never seen one of these Conn Strobotuners with an odd model number. The ST-1, as I called it, was just set Strobotuner. It didn't actually have a model. And then I know that 2, 4, 6, and 8 exist. And then, strangely enough, the next one I know that exists was 11, which is the solid-state model that looks nothing like this. So, I found, because this knob was missing, so we couldn't calibrate it, I found a knob in my bin of stuff that seems to fit okay. Doesn't look too off-kilter. I'd like to have one of the silver-faced knobs, maybe something with a little bit more diameter, because that's a little torquey to turn that. I might put a little oil on it. So I have not turned this on yet, so I guess we're going to see if it's going to explode. So we've got it in the run. Oh, as a note, the ST-6, I was contemplating what to do about the glitches it threw for me yesterday. It didn't throw any glitches during our video. I took it apart and cleaned all the switches and knobs and everything, and after that I could not get it to glitch. I think that the operate start switch actually just was glitchy in there, and cleaning that and the power switch and the gain pot and reseating all the tubes and cleaning that seems to have gotten it working well. So that one's going to be usable, and we're going to use it until we actually have an issue. Okay, on to the ST-8. Let's see if it explodes. Okay, so we flip the switch and nothing happens. Absolutely zero happens when I flip the switch. So, up. Okay, so this light must be out, because there goes the tuner. So there's the first thing to look for, a light bulb. Okay, and the chase pattern there looks horrible. It's usually the top one that you're trying to square up. So somebody was having a lot of fun playing around with this inductor. Oh, and it feels much better too. It's like they had spun it all the way to the end of its rope and it felt super tight. Okay. The pattern on this actually looks pretty good. It's pretty straightforward to read. And that should be a rough calibration. So, okay. New knob, good. Light bulb, bad. Okay. That just takes a normal, I think should be a normal 6-volt light bulb. Probably runs off of the filaments of one of the AC transformers. Okay, so plug the microphone in. That's the same EV crystal mic we've been looking at for eons. Let's find a tone here. Okay, there's an A3. So, we'll turn this to A. That's an A. And actually, I'm pretty aware that according to all of these Conn Strobotuners, the reference pitches on the Sabine tuner here that I'm using are close but not perfect. Okay, so reading the calibration on this one, the calibrator is the easiest to read on this one of any of them that I've seen. It is the newest model. Okay, so we're going to put it in operate. And, okay, turning the gain knob does seem to get a little bit of a result. We'll give it a reference pitch of an A. There we go. Now, this speaker puts out a lot of cheap harmonics, but that's pretty usable. It appears to have stopped okay. That should be a B. That looks really good down there. That is really easy to read. C. Yeah, I find that the A is on, but the C is off on the Sabine, so C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and I kind of hit a real stiff spot in the switch. F, looks good. F sharp, G, G sharp, and back to A. Our A is dead on, some of the other pitches are a little iffy. So anyway, off to a really good start here. Cosmetically, this one's probably a little bit rougher condition. It's got a missing rubber foot, and they were riveted on, so that makes it a drag. We were missing the knob here, but we have the usual stiffness and stuff. But as far as general functionality, we look like we're there. So let's tear into an ST-8 and see if there's anything beyond cleaning pots and switches we need to do before we can use it. But from what I can tell, this is the easiest one to read of all of them. The 1 and the 6 look nearly identical. This one looks a smidge better. Okay. Okay, so this is the ST-8. I can tell it's a little newer. We have very clear, easy to read markings on the caps. That's an improvement. We still have the string tie like we did on the number 6. The bulb is just missing. So apparently somebody was going to get one and never did. I noticed this one's signed, initials RL. The other one was actually signed in a pencil. I think it said LH. Tube chart on there is missing a corner, but still there. And our tube complement, RCA, that's one of those Amperex like the other one was. I think our rectifier is a GE. Our other one actually had a GE rectifier too. I'd have to turn that around to see the print. That looks like the GE RCAs and a GE at the end. I know everybody's really excited. We're going to find some really rare tube. But the construction looks pretty much identical to the ST6. We're going to pull the bottom off so we can clean the sleeves, and then we'll clean the dirt off the top. There's a lot more dirty grunge up here. We'll just wipe that off when we clean the tube sockets. And I think I have a light bulb for that. Hope so. Okay, and we're inside. We can tell this was a little bit more modern. The ST6 appeared to have this style capacitor, except it was brown, and they were made by TRW. Those are earlier poly capacitors, so they're not likely to go bad like waxies, and that's the same case that we have here. Some Allen Bradley resistors for the big ones, and then we have these carbon film resistors for the later ones. This is, to my knowledge, one of the last tube models, probably the 70s era, I would guess, and the Conn stuff. And then they did the solid state ST11, which was very famous. Neil Young had a bunch of them. And then eventually the technology was sold to Peterson. Whoever did this L bracket, that L bracket is similar to what we saw in the ST-8, but there's a lot more real estate over here. There's a lot more room to get in here and mount things and work. So construction differences, I can see a few. You can compare that to yesterday's video if you want to actually see the difference. This is almost more for curiosity because I'm in here primarily to change a light bulb and lubricate pots and switches. Last time we lubricated pots and switches on the other one, it solved all the issues. And this has the 3-prong cord, which the 3-prong cord goes to that grounding rail, which is eventually sent to earth, to the chassis. So pretty cool. As far as the construction of it goes, it still is all point to point. The builder of this, whatever your initials were, we looked, is RL. Very good work. The other one I think was LH, which was the ST6. That one really over-impressed me with the neatness. This one is very neat also, but not quite the artistry, but it's still very good. I'm not going to sit here and fault you as being a terrible technician. I don't see oodles of mistakes, I don't see anything, but this looks good. So thank you. If this was one you built, give yourself a pat on the back for building a unit that's still here 30 some years later. So just to clean these switches, there's nothing exciting here. We just come up to a pot like that, spray a little bit of our magic cleaner in it, and then we turn it a whole bunch of times. This is not rocket surgery, we're just turning and we do the same thing to the two switches. We just spray the switch and click it a whole bunch of times. And then we're going to pull the tubes out of the sockets, wipe the top down with some cleaner, wipe all the dirt off of it that we can, and then we'll probably put it back together. The only things I need to think about what I'm going to do is what I'm going to do for rubber feet, because there's a missing rubber foot on this that we showed in yesterday's video. Okay. Alright, so we'll finish with the switches and then we'll flip it over. I'm making progress. I'm getting a lot of the dirt on this. There was a lot of tape and glue, and I still got some more glue to get off of it, but one of our rubber feet was just missing, and this is riveted on. This is a pretty tough rivet. Cutting that's going to involve like a Dremel tool or something like that. And then this one's okay. This one is just mangled and coming off, and then this one is okay. So I don't know if I even like these rubber feet. I'm almost thinking I should do what the piano tuner did on the ST-1, putting like nice dense felt strips around here that just kind of negate the feet altogether. I think that'd be a good idea, but we'll do that once we get the rest of the glue off. I don't know what in the world somebody did. They must have wrapped this in tape and got it really bad. Anyway, over here you can see I did get a light bulb for it. I had one in the stash that's the same light bulb that fits a lot of common guitar amplifiers. Okay, so that'll work. We put some felt strips on there that well exceed the size of the feet, so it will sit on the felt. I put one in the middle just for posterity. That'll work in the meantime till we decide what we're going to do. Cosmetic restoration doesn't seem tremendously logical because of the names and things spray painted on them. Some of the things I thought on here were actually rust and damage, turned out to be dirt, so it is cleaning up fairly well. And this light and everything, it still probably looks filthy and horrible, but it's not that bad actually. Not that bad at all. So we got our light, we got our stuff. I'm almost debating whether I should take that off or leave it on. I don't know. I think whatever. I think it's fine. It doesn't hurt anything. I'll let you know the history of this thing. Probably sat in a band room for a long, long time. Maybe taught kids how to get their trumpet in tune or something like that. Okay, so here's our ST-8. It needed a light bulb and a bath and a knob. That's not the original knob, but yeah. If I can find a silver tip knob, maybe we'll change that in the future. But that knob works good and it fits the aesthetic and it's not too big and whatever. Function over form. Function over form. So, yeah. This should put an end to Strobotuner madness for a while. The only reason I have the ST6 and 8 are because I saw them on eBay and they were, the opening bidding was really, really cheap. I said, oh, that's cool. So I put in what I considered to be a laughable bid, and nobody bought them. So they ended up here, probably because they were untested, but each one needed a little bit of fiddling, and now they're good. But in all seriousness, if you want to fix guitars, or anything that really needs tuning, a Strobotuner is probably the best way to go. And the Peterson Strobotuner is the industry standard now, but that's going to set you back a lot of money. The Conn Strobotuners are the father of the Peterson Strobotuners. Peterson bought the technology in 1985 and went into becoming a straight tuning company. That's about all they do. So the technology is solid. The tuners are very accurate. And these Conn tuners can be very accurate too. So, you know, for the hobbyist luthier, if you can pick these up for cheap, get them fixed. I mean, a Peterson's going to send you back $500 used sometimes, $400 or $500 used, if it's been serviced and everything's good. Where one of these will set you back $150 used, if it's been serviced and looked at. If it's, you know, one of the more common models like the ST-6 or 8, which are more common than the earliest ones. But yeah, you know, look them up. They're pretty cool. Okay, thanks for watching, and have a great day.